The first stage in the ID model is understanding the audience. This is common among many of the ID models because it's important to know and understand the learner and their needs before any kind of instruction can happen. The second stage of the model is background. If you don't know where they come from, you don't know where you need to go. Once you've analyzed the audience and their backgrounds, then you can start thinking about the content and what needs to be covered. This includes all of the standards and objectives. Once the content has been established, you've got to consider what would be the best delivery system. In smaller cases, a more direct approach is often effective, whereas other circumstances make large group or computer-based instruction far more appropriate. In this phase, it's also important to consider how the student learning will be assessed. Though I've addressed it last in the list, evaluation is really ongoing constantly throughout this process. It's dynamic and ever-changing. At each stage, you have to go back and evaluate how it affects the lesson as a whole. This model takes into consideration 4 essential elements: who, what, how, and why of instructional design. A great deal of the focus of this model is on understanding what prior knowledge the learners have and how best to build on that knowledge. This is a cognitivist belief. I use this model to design instruction for an 11th grade AP Language and Composition class. The first thing I had to consider when designing this instruction is the audience. This particular group is very unique. They have very high reading comprehension and recall and are highly motivated to succeed. They often struggle with critical thinking, originating ideas, and making and supporting unique connections. Because of their advanced abilities in writing and grammatical structure, I chose a different platform than the traditional essay. I felt this would take them out of their comfort zone and require that they focus more on content analysis rather than allowing them to rely on skills that are already well developed. Additionally, because these students are very self-driven, they often want to see the big picture. I wanted to be sure that I included information on how it connects to the previous lesson as well as how it will connect to what we will do next. Another area to consider is the student's background, both in terms of literary knowledge and technological skill. Previously in this unit, the students read the text, identified the necessary literary devices and elements, and explored the analytical concepts. Because we are a one-to-one technology school, the students are already familiar with many basic aspects of computer use. However, we've been developing new skills for content delivery and building an e-portfolio, which they'll be able to present for college admissions or academic funding applications. The area that presents the greatest divide is the ability to originate ideas and participate in active rather than passive learning. Next, I focused on the content. Standards and objectives were presented. Students were expected to understand and present a clear explanation of various literary devices, themes, and author's purpose throughout the text. Using previous knowledge of the text, students will be creating a storyboard that later will help them design a video. This video presentation will be explaining a study guide style website that they have been creating. Students have been given a template that they can fill in as they go. I've also provided them with a storyboard and video example for modeling. Welcome to the online course for 11th grade AP Language and Composition. But really, no one wants to listen to that again. So let's get back to our model. I've found that the best delivery method for this particular class is a blend of digital and face-to-face. The assignment is initially presented in digital format. This allows the students to work on it, and then they will submit it using Google Classroom. For these students, it's important that they can work at their own pace. This would allow me to be more of a facilitator during class time. I will be available to answer questions or to help troubleshoot technology problems. Student evaluation will happen in stages. The first assessment will be the storyboard. After completion of the next phase, the video will be evaluated, and eventually the entire site will be graded. Because this course has an exam at the end, I'll be able to better quantify results after receiving scores from the AP exam. When the lesson's over, it's time to review, assess, reflect, and adjust. After the initial evaluation of the lesson, I realized I needed to present the video and explain the components and the expectations first, then have the students complete the storyboard. When analyzing the audience, I noted that it was important to give the big picture, but I forgot their need for details and specifics. The only thing I provided on that was the storyboard rubric. The majority of the class time was spent addressing questions and concerns about the video, the technology, the expectations, guidelines, things like that. They were distracted by the fact that they had to appear on screen, how they'd record it, what software to use, things like that. So after calming their fears and discussing it, they did really well with the storyboards. They found the format simple, user-friendly. They really didn't struggle once they got beyond that initial fear. Overall, I was very happy with the lesson and with the instructional design that I used. It made it very simple to go into detail and to thoroughly analyze every aspect of the construction of this lesson.